Hello everybody. Today I've got the Microtech Ultratech DE. This one's a model 122-4. This is an OTF knife, out the front knife, basically a switchblade type knife, and it uses this actuator to operate it. And one thing with this knife I've found is the actuator is smooth, but it's very heavy, both for retracting and putting it out. So if you got weaknesses in your hand, weaknesses in your thumb, this knife is probably not for you. But if you got reasonably strong hands, you'll see that even there, I didn't have it at the right angle. It was a little more difficult to put in. This is the trade-off. So the springs in both the closed and open position are under no tension. So none of the internal springs that operate it are pre-tensioned. That increases the life of the springs and the longevity of it. But it does make it where it's harder than others, like some of the Benchmades and stuff like that, are a lot easier to put out and put in. It also does mean that the chances of you putting this knife out while it's in your pocket, reaching in for something else, is near zero. When this knife comes out, it's because you want it to come out. Now, the body is 6061 T6. Knives have so many different numbers to say. It's an aluminum body, stainless steel clip, and stainless steel, basically glass breaker / DNA collector. Happily, this one is rounded at the tip, so it doesn't cut at you if you brush across it, but I sure probably wouldn't want to be hit by that. There's texture in various places. The aluminum is smooth, but there's enough texture in all the right places that at no point do I ever feel that this knife is going to come out of my hand or get slippery. Even when I'm having to do a little bit of tension. I think I messed up when I put it in last time, so let me fix that and come back. I hadn't properly pulled it when I put it in last time. Overall, I found this knife to be reliable. All the OTF knives can get in that state, and to fix them, generally all you do is just kind of whip them a little bit. The blade goes out, it locks, and then you pull them back in. And I've had that happen with pretty much every OTF knife I've had. None of them seem to be immune to that. And because it's so easy to fix, I don't worry about it. You never have to disassemble the knife or do anything to get it operating again. The knife itself is the blade, I'll put the blade back out, is M390, which is a newer steel. Some people call it the latest ultra steel, etc., but it's a very durable, holds a good edge, it's corrosion resistant, and it looks nice. So it's that powdered metal type steel that is becoming quite popular, especially with knives. Chrome, vanadium, and other materials to make it a very strong and solid steel. It's got a nice edge on it. This is a very sharp knife, and I've been carrying this for quite a while actually lately as my EDC, and using it to open packages and stuff. Anything, if I need a knife, this is on me, I'll go ahead and pull this out and use it. I like this knife. It's very light. This particular one is 3.5 ounces. So one thing I want to mention is this particular series comes in a number of variations. It has different blade lengths, different blade styles. This happens to be a dagger style, and overall lengths. So when I talk about the specs, I'm kind of talking about the one in my hand, but they can vary depending on which model you choose, even the price. This one's around $300, but this line of knives can go a little bit above that and a little bit below it. In its open state, like you see it here, this one's 8.5 inches. Some are longer, some are shorter. And it's 4.625 inches in the closed position. Some of the bigger ones, it gets up close to 5 inches. And as I mentioned earlier, 3.5 ounces. This one has a 3.44 inch blade, which to me is a really good size blade. It's long enough to be useful, it's long enough to be functional as a defensive knife, but it's short enough that I can actually get something that when it's closed and it's in my pocket and I sit down, you don't have it pushing, so it hangs clipped down. You don't have this end pushing into your leg or pushing into the surface you're trying to sit on or overall getting in the way. For me, this is kind of the sweet spot size for pocket carry knives for concealed carry, defensive, and utility type use. But that's all personal opinion. It's a nice looking knife, contoured nicely. I kind of like this talon, bird talon that they've got from their logo. It's just kind of a nice look. You can get this in, as I mentioned earlier, different blade styles, different body colors, and different combinations. And like a lot of manufacturers, different combinations come and go. So at any given time, this red may not be available, it may be replaced with a different red or blue or something like that. But it's actually quite a nice knife. And this particular color, they call it red satin. If you're looking for a concealed carry knife, I really would recommend this one. This one has worked well for me for the time I've had it. The only thing I would keep in mind is because this is out the front and it's a little bit on the longer side, it likely does not fall under various jurisdictions' pocket knife regulations that would allow you to carry it without having to worry about licensing. So just be careful. If you choose this knife and you're going to carry it around, depending on where you're at, there may be various restrictions on it. You know, unlike a little folding buck knife that pretty much anybody can carry almost anywhere, you know, this one may run you into some form of restrictions. Beyond that, if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Getter, Rumble. We're pretty much everywhere.